Welcome, my name is Nicole, and this is a 30-minute Pilates class focusing on breath and centering, geared towards folks who are recovering from long-term COVID, but also good for anyone who wants to take it slow and connect with their breath. So for today's class, you will need just a small towel or blanket that you can kind of fold up to use as a little bit of a bolster. But first, we're going to just start laying down on your back, knees bent, feet flat on the mat with your hands resting on your belly. So I'm going to do a lot of cueing breath today as always. And just remember that if I'm either breathing too fast or too slow, you can breathe at your own pace. The goal is to really just keep your breath flowing as you move, even if whatever it is we're doing is kind of hard in that moment. Just to keep the breath flowing. But to start, hands kind of fingertips right around where the belly button is. Just slowly start to inhale through the nose and then out through the mouth. Inhale through the nose and out through the mouth. Keep that breath flowing and start to notice how on your exhale, your belly probably deflates a little bit. You might feel your hands getting a little closer to the mat or to your spine. Can you start to engage your abdominals a little bit more so you feel those abdominals under your hands, under your fingers, pulling in towards the mat a little more with each exhale? And then staying engaged as you inhale and exhale. So what that means is instead of a belly breath where your belly rises with each inhale, you start to breathe more into your ribs, into the back body, and your abs can stay slightly engaged. Deepening with each exhale. Today, and all my classes this week, actually, we're focusing on the center. So no matter what kind of zany thing we're doing with arms and legs, you want to imagine that every movement is coming from your center, from these muscles that are pulling in and back and being supported by these muscles. So to start, if you can slide your leg out long, I notice I'm a little at the end of my mat. I'm going to scooch back because I want to be able to slide my leg along my mat and then slide it back in without feeling like I'm getting stuck or pulling the mat up with me. So if that means you have to move to a hard floor or a carpet, maybe you'll do that. But we're going to start to move your legs as you breathe. So on the inhale, slide your right leg long. Then on the exhale, you pull your abdominals in first and then slide your heel back in. Inhale, slide the leg out. Breath makes you long. You inhale on extension. Exhale, abs come in first and then the leg. Just like a moment before. Inhale. Exhale, you zip those abs in and the leg comes in. One more. Inhale, sliding the leg long. Feel the abdominals stay in and then exhale, deepen them to come in. Let's switch legs. Inhale, slide the left leg long. Exhale, slide it in. Inhale. Exhale, the abs, pull your leg in. 3 more. Last one. And take a moment. Check in with your breath. If you're feeling a little lightheaded, you can relax and just breathe normally. And then take your hands behind your head. So your hands are like a little hammock for your skull. If you've got tight shoulders like me, you might have your elbows lifted up. You might have your elbows wide on the floor. Either way, breathe here. And on your exhales, feel those abs zipping up the way we've been practicing, but also feel your rib cage knitting together like your ribs are coming towards each other. With your hands behind your head like this, You might really feel the ribs pulling away from your armpits. That's your upper abs. And that's the motor or the strength behind your curl up. So every time you exhale and engage those ribs down, that's what you want to do right before you lift your head. So on the next exhale or whenever you're ready, you inhale. Exhale, close the ribs first, and then curl up. Inhale to lower down. Exhale to come up. And really, your abs are working on the way down as well. The upper abdominals, they lift you, and then they lower you down carefully. And exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Right? The abs are staying engaged as you inhale. Exhale. And inhale. Exhale. And inhale. Okay, so now we're going to add the leg and the upper body together. So from here, let's start curled up. So exhale, curled up. You're going to stretch your right leg long on the inhale and lower your head. Inhale, lengthen the leg and lean back. Exhale, up you go. 3 more. Inhale. Can you keep your abs engaged? Exhale. Right? You want to keep the center pulling in towards the mat. And we'll do 1 more. Remember, you can always go slower or do less reps. Next leg, inhale, lower the head, stretch the leg out long. Exhale, curl up. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, curl up. Whew. Inhale. Keep the abs, keep them pulling in, and then pull them in even more. 2 more. All from your center. Last one. And curl up, the knee bends, and then just lower the head down. Let's hug those knees in. Let's give a little kind of lower back stretch. You can draw some circles with the knees here. The knees going in, around, away, and back in. Reverse those circles. Okay, take your feet down, whatever that bolster is, whether it's a pillow or a rolled up something, you're gonna place it under your hips. So specifically under your sacrum. So if you feel the arch of your lower back, it should probably be just below the arch, or the weight of your butt and hips is right on top, whatever it is you're using. So from here, you're gonna hug your right knee into your chest and stretch the left leg out long. Because your pelvis is a little raised, you might feel a stretch in the front of your left hip. So enjoy that as you straighten and bend your right knee. 2 more times. And just kind of notice, are you feeling a little tight? 1 more, I guess an extra one, and then hold it up. Circle your ankle around. Can you straighten the knee and keep it straight as you do this? If this is really intense, if you're very tight in your hamstring and glute, go ahead and bend that other leg, and that should ease up the tension. Reverse the circles of your foot if you haven't. And then you're gonna hold right here. So you've got options now. You can keep your left leg on the floor like this, the long one, or you can bend it if it feels really hard to hold your leg up. The hardest version, you're gonna extend the left leg to a diagonal. That's quite hard on the abs because you're gonna try to keep your hips totally still as the leg that's up top, the right leg, goes across your body, down, around, and up, and draws a little circle. Ooh, so if the leg in the air is too much, you put it down. 2. The point really is to keep your hips still while you draw this circle. And you do that by thinking of drawing the circle with your center. 1 more in this direction. What if your abs drew the circle? Reverse, go down, around, and up from your center. 4, 3, 2. Last one. And bend it in. Ooh, that might have been some work on that leg, but hopefully you also felt it in your center. So let's hug the left knee in. Straighten and bend the knee. Notice, is this leg a little tighter, a little bit more mobile? What if you keep your center engaged even as you stretch? Try to get that knee to straight. Circle your foot around. You'll get a better ankle stretch if your knee stays straight and is straight. Reverse your circles. And then pull those abs in. Bring your arms probably down by your side. What are you doing with this bottom leg? Are you keeping it here? Are you lifting it up? Are you putting it down? Decide. I'm going to go straight. And draw circles with your center. 4, 3, 2, 1. And then you reverse your direction. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. And hug that knee in. Bring both knees in. And if your hips are still on that towel or whatever you're using, you're going to draw some circles. And you might get a little deeper stretch in that low back. If it ever doesn't feel good on your lower back, don't do it. Or try to pull your abs in and see if that helps, even in your stretches. Okay, put your feet down on the mat. Scoop your abdominals, lift your hips up into a little bridge to slide that bolster out from under your tush. Take it and place it between your thighs. If it's wide like mine is, right, have it the long way or the wide way up and down so you have the full inner leg engaged on that towel or whatever you're using, and then bring your arms down by your side. So on an exhale, zip your abdominals up, pull them in, and flatten the lower back into the mat. So you've tucked your pelvis, no more air under here. And then lift your tailbone, sacrum, and hips up, and then roll it on down. 7 more of these. Feel that you're hugging this bolster between your inner thighs, so the inner thighs are engaging into this bridge and helping to feel your abdominals and your hamstrings and glutes. And roll it down. I lost count, to be honest, so let's say 2 more. Remember, you can go at your own pace. I might be going a little too fast. And last one. Let's hold here for a moment and just bring your attention to the place where your butt and your legs meet. Right here, where the hamstrings and glutes connect in towards each other. Can you, right from there, you can touch it too if you can reach, right? And just can you, right from there, lift a little higher? Holy moly. So you'll feel the muscles here engage, but you also might sense a lengthening in the front of your hips, these muscles that get so tight from sitting or even like running and cycling, whatever you do, these get tight, these get loosey-goosey, and then we lose them. So we want to work them and roll it on down. Oi, oi, oi. You can give yourself a hug again and put that bolster aside. So let's do a little bit of obliques here. So hands back behind your head, revisiting the curl up. When you curl up, we're still pulling the ribs in first, but you're also going to twist, go to one side. So I'm going to go to the right first and lift my right leg to tabletop. So on the exhale, I pull my abs in first, and then I start to lift towards the right and lift this right leg up to tabletop, and then come down and then lift. So again, abs working both directions. Hips staying still. When you're twisting like this in ab stuff, you want to actually keep your hips from twisting with you, because then it's less of a rotation and more of just a turn. Now you might feel also this leg here that's on the floor. What can you squeeze? Can you find your hamstring and glute, that place where your leg and butt meet? That's going to help you keep your hip down and lower. So can you find a little bridge even with your butt down? Right, the breath is flowing. Notice if you're getting stuck during the hard parts and not breathing. It's more important that you breathe than, do 100 reps or curl up as high as you did yesterday or something. Listen to your body. Last one. And then, rest. Take a moment. If your heart rate is elevated and you know that's not good for you, take a rest. If you're feeling really good, awesome. Roll over onto your side and then flip over all the way onto your belly. So now you're going to take your hands underneath your forehead and we're going to work the back body with that focus still on your center, still on these abs that we've been working on pulling in towards your back, right? So here, even while you're laying down, and you can rest your forehead on your hands and just listen to me. You don't have to see me do this. You're just going to pull, unless of course, if you need to check in, I'll be here doing it. But just take a moment, let everything relax into the mat, and then try to lift that abdominal wall up off the mat. Now, it might technically still be on the mat, but it's not like pushing into the mat, right? My abs are still mostly touching, but I'm trying to lift them up. The energy is such that I am pulling up towards the ceiling with my abs. So your goal is to maintain that, okay? Your transverse abdominis muscle is strong. It can stay engaged for a while. So keep it working as you lift your head, chest, and heart up. So if you notice you dropped it and your belly went into the mat, pull it up again. No big deal. Just pull it up, lower down. Lift and lower. Lift and lower. Just notice, keep those upper abs lifting and your lower abs. The more you lift those, the more the rest of your body will do what it needs to do to perform this exercise. So I'm going to give you options to make it harder. Whichever hand is on top, you can keep it glued to your forehead. I'm going to switch hands so you can see. If you want to look, you're going to lift one arm up and down with your head and heart. Are your abs still off the mat? Get them off the mat. You might have to work harder now in your glutes and other muscles, but keep those abs lifting. One more, and then switch hands if you're lifting the hand. Remember, you don't have to lift your hand if you're not there today. You can just work lifting the head, chest, and heart. If you're like, this is easy, or I want more of a challenge, on the next one, you'll lift both hands up. Ooh, can you keep your abs up? Feel how you have to work harder now to keep those abs up. Ooh. 2 more. Keep those abs lifted. That's the main goal here. And then rest. Whew. Take a moment. You can rock your hips. You can relax for a moment. Wiggle it out a bit. But then you're going to find those abs again, and we're going to lift the legs. So same idea. Abs are lifting off the mat, trying to, even if they technically are still on the mat. And then you're going to start to slide your left leg long and lift it up. Lower down. Your head can still rest. I'm just going to face you so you can hear me. Slide the right leg long and lift it up and lower. Now, once you get the leg lifting, you can really keep them reaching long the whole time and just lift one after the other. But again, bring your focus to keeping your belly off the floor, pulling away from it. That will protect your lower back and help you to engage naturally the muscles we're trying to get here, which is your glutes and hamstrings. That same spot, hamstring glute connection. Now, if you're like, I'm ready for a challenge, you can lift up both legs. Keep your abs off the floor though, right? If you start lifting and pressing your belly into the mat, you're going to go into your low back. Most definitely. All right, let's try 4 more. Remember, you can stick with the single legs. You can totally just take a break and think about what that would be like. And then lower down. And let's help yourselves into a nice child's pose. So let the knees be as wide as your mat. Walk your hands forward. Rest your head. If the floor seems really far away, you can rest on your fists as well. And while you're here, go ahead and let that belly go. Let that center go that we've been pulling and pulling, right? Let your belly expand. Let your lower and middle back expand with your breath. All right, we're gonna do a little side legs today with a focus on your center, because that's what we're focusing on. If you want to use your bolster, you can. You can lay on it like this. It's kind of nice and comfortable, especially if you have any shoulder stuff. But you also can just lay like this. Take your legs out long, slightly in front of you. And we place the arm here partially for balance, right? So that you don't fall over, but also to remind you to keep your upper abs engaged. If you feel your ribs pressing into you like this, when we're swinging the leg, for instance, you know you've lost some of this core connection. So abs are in, hand is here to help hold it. Hips are one on top of the other. Lift your top leg up. Start to swing your leg back and forth. Does not have to be big because you want to keep this still. So think about how your core supports this movement. Your core keeps you long and tall when you reach your leg back, high hamstring glute, and then your core also helps to extend this leg up in the air in front of you. You want your foot to be about hip height. So you can kind of look at it. If it's dipping or going like really high, you might be doing something strange in your lower back. You want to just be swinging the leg, same height, forward and back. Just a couple more. Yes, this is an outer hip leg exercise. If that's where you feel it most, that's great. Hold back here for a moment. Notice, did you press into your forearm? I did. Pull your abs in. Bicycle your leg. So you bend the knee, bring it forward. Hello, abs, extend and sweep it back. 4, 3, 2, 1. Reverse it. 5, 4, 3. Keep this core connected. 2 and 1. And lower it down. Okay, I'm gonna flip over. You can just roll over. You can flip over too if you want to stay facing the screen. Set yourself up. Your legs are long, slightly in front of you. Hips are stacked. I always got to kind of check with my eyeballs to make sure it's hard to tell sometimes. Bring your arm in close to your ribs. Feel your waist pulling in and back, back, back. Lift your top leg up. Swing the leg forward and back. I always use like the first 2 to just feel it out, right? How far can I go today on this side? What is this going to feel like? Because the most important part is to keep this connection, to keep this stability, right? As opposed to just kind of kicking and seeing what happens. 4 more. 3, 2. Those abs working the whole time. Last one. Let's hold it back here. If you're feeling stuff in your low back, reach your foot further away. Reach your abs further in. Make space in your lower back. Bicycle the leg forward for 5. And 4. 3, 2, 1. Ooh, reverse it. 5, 4, 3, 2, And 1, and lower down. So laying down on your back, you're going to cross your right ankle over your left knee. And this might be, if you're really tight in your hip, this might be enough of a stretch. If you're more flexible or you want a deeper stretch, you're pulling this thigh bone in. You might be able to get it in a lot more than me. I'm kind of tight and sore right now. So just stretch an appropriate amount for you. You can also rock. If you rock, keep your belly engaged so that your back doesn't arch a lot off the mat. And then switch sides, stretch the other hip. This is a stretch, by the way, for the leg that's up and crossed over the knee. That hip should be feeling the length. Again, your knees might be really close to your chest if you're quite flexible. Just keep your abs engaged a little bit. Alrighty, you're gonna come up to seated. Take your time if you need to. Pushing yourself up from the side is the most kind of simple way to do it. You're gonna sit up nice and tall. Crisscross applesauce. If this position is not accessible to you, just sit up in a chair, or you can even sit on your bolster if you just need a little bit of lift in your hips, right? If your knees feel tight. So right from here, we're just gonna take a little side bend. So take your hands to the sides, kind of just as far as you can get where your fingertips are still touching, and then reach one arm up. You're just gonna start to reach up and over towards where the wall and the ceiling meet over there. Or if you're thinking about being in a Zoom box, to the corner of your Zoom box. And then place it down and stretch it up and over. The reason we're reaching up is so there's a little bit of strength and toning in your side going, not just hanging out and stretching like this passively. Reach, 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 reach. And up and over. Everybody's working from home today, so that's what you're hearing in the background. And up and over. Don't forget to breathe, right? Sometimes in our stretches, we hold our breath. It's not good, not useful. Come on up to tall. Take a few big breaths just right here. If your hips are gripping a little, release them. Might notice that then all of a sudden your lower abs have to engage. And that's great. And you are all done. Thank you for joining me. And I hope you have a lovely rest of your day. Bye-bye.